Welcome to Petrohead's Simracing Widowmaker Series, Round 6, here at Nürburgring, located in Nuremberg, Germany. I'm Adam Stewart, your host for this final race of the series, and folks, we got a good one for you today. We are at the mother of all that is evil as these drivers take on the Nürburgring's North Loop. Known as the Nordschleife and nicknamed the Green Hell by Jackie Stewart, the North Loop is 20.8 kilometers long and contains more than 3,000 meters of elevation change. To say this track is hard would be an understatement. It takes nearly 10 minutes to do a single lap, and in that time the drivers will be fighting the track more than they will ever be fighting each other. We have a four-way battle for the championship, and unfortunately 2 of the drivers weren't able to show up today. That brings us to the 2 drivers left, Andy Darnell and John Spriggs. I asked both drivers about their approach to today's race, and Andy said that he was confident and didn't think too much about anything going wrong. He also was counting on his teammate to get on and run away from the crowd and hopefully win them the championship for the team. John said he just wants to stay on track, keep the car stable, and stick with Andy and don't push unless he was safe to do so. Now would be a good time for you to hit that like button. It's free and you know you want to. Subscribe and hit that bell if you want to see more. And if you have any comments, good or bad, be sure to leave them below. I would love to hear what you all are thinking about the racing so far. And if you're interested in joining Petrohead Simracing and participating in some of these races, the link to the Discord is in the description below. So grab some snacks and a drink and get comfortable because warm-up is done, tech inspections are complete, and cars are hitting the grid. We have some drivers late that didn't have time to set a qualifying lap. Matty Renault, Marco Tricolo, and Samuel Oliveira. The points are as follows. Andy leads John by 4 points. So for John to win the championship, he needs to finish ahead of Andy in both races. And one of those finishes must be at least second position or better. For Andy to win, he needs to finish both races within 1 position of John and win at least one of them. After this, our winner will be enjoying a nice cold beverage while the other will be drinking tears.
Boogity, boogity, boogity! Let's go racing, drivers!
And they are on the loud pedal. As they take off, Andy got his typical start. Matty Renault, what a start for him, all the way to second place, starting in 6th from the line. He is up into second place. Coming down into the first turn here. They're still on the regular Nürburgring course. As they're winding through, been no problems in the first turns. Nice and clean start for everybody. Andy out in front. Matty Renault in second, and John Spriggs in third. Got Samuel Oliveira jogging back and forth there in the back. We know Sam is fast. See if he can put any pressure on these guys up front. All the drivers just winding through turns after turn. No issues so far, taking it easy. Tires are cold, trying to get them warmed up. Grip is not at the maximum yet. So John putting some pressure on Matty Renault, trying to get him to brake. Now they're just about ready to enter onto the actual Nordschleife. Come out of this little chicane here. They're going to make a left turn onto the Nordschleife. There you can see Andy making that turn, and both Matt and John doing the same thing. This is where it's going to get interesting. Who can handle the Green Hell? John got a little loose there. He's starting to drop back away from Matty. Right back at it, next turn. Through a downhill section here. They'll be heading back uphill when they get through all these S's. They're going back uphill, as you can see there. Up and over a little ridge and to the right. Like riding a roller coaster. Matty Renault got off track there just a little bit. So did Andy Darnell. John Spriggs says, "Thank you very much. I'll take the lead." As He goes by both of them. This doesn't bode well for Andy. Look at Matty flashing his lights, telling Andy, hey, don't pull out in front of me like that. Andy getting a little sideways there. Marco Tricolo taking a look on the inside of Matty Renault. Oliveira is going to take advantage of that. A little bit of side-by-side action going on. Pass up, Marco. Oh, look at Matty. Oh, he is going around. He almost flipped it up against the railing. Oh, Marco had nowhere to go. Could have left him a little bit of room there, but probably didn't think he was going to come back on the track. Now Matty Renault is going to try to get his car back facing in the right direction. Doesn't look like his car is too bad. I don't see any damage there. Maybe, no, I don't see anything there. Here you can see Andy Darnell putting some pressure on John Spriggs. Looking down his inside. Go, folks. This is the race for the championship right in front of your eyes. Andy Darnell pushing John Spriggs. This is how they finish. John will be ahead by 1 point in race 1. And we'll have to see what happens in race 2. But there's a long ways to go in this race. We're only 5 minutes in. Of course, the cream has risen to the top. 2 drivers, 1 and 2 in the championship, 1 and 2 on the track. Samuel Oliveira is coming up there thinking, I want to get in the mix. And I won the first race. He's struggled since he's been back, though. This last week that he was here, he did not do what we expected him to do. Couldn't seem to keep the car underneath him. He's back in his original livery, so hopefully that will make a big difference for him. Andy Darnell with a dive on John. John going to cut back on him. They are a little bit side. Nope, he got in front of him. There it is. And John's going to take another look, filling those mirrors back and forth they go. John with some overspeed. He's going to go right by Andy here. Wonder if he was getting pushed by, oh my goodness, a wreck. Let's take a look and see what happened here. Here you can see that Samuel does give John a little pump there, which pushes him, gives him that little extra overspeed. And coming down inside, oh, he catches the grass just a little bit. There's the green hell. You touch a little bit of that green and you're gonna go off track. See Andy getting back on going straight. Here we are back live, back in the back with Andy Darnell and Marco Tricolo. And around goes Andreas Sieg. Andreas back running. Now they got to slow down, it looks like. John Spriggs is finding himself a nice little 5-second lead over the field. But we do know that Sam is very fast. And that 5-second lead can evaporate very quickly on a track this long, this dangerous. As you can see already, Sam's already cut that down to 4.5 seconds. Biggest movers is Samuel Oliveira and Marco Tricolo. Oh, and around goes Matty Renault. Look at the front end of that car. Time between John and Sam is now down to 3 seconds. And you can just see Sam flash into the screen there. Slowly picking apart that lead. I'm sure at this point John is thinking, I'm ahead of Andy. That's what I need to do. He's happy about that. Probably not pushing. Like I said, he wanted to stay steady. Don't push unless he has to. And there you can see how close Sam is. Oh, and he goes off track and into the wall. Pushing maybe a little bit hard there, trying to catch up to John. Probably didn't take too much damage since he hit it sideways. Perfectly flat. Getting ready to go on to the last straight before they hit the start-finish line and back onto the course of Nürburgring. This is where they will reach the highest speeds. They will cap out, be as fast as that car can go. John is now entering back onto the Nürburgring. A nice little left turn here will put him back towards the start-finish line. And a hard right. And he's back on the course. So is coming up on him again. Oh, and around goes Andy Darnell again. Let's see what happened there, folks. Here you can see he's coming up over the hill here. Oh, gets a little bit light. Oh, off the gas, and there he goes on the brakes. Car gets very light coming up over that hill, so of course, as you're coming over there, you got to be careful whether you're hitting the brakes or hitting the throttle there, or even letting off the throttle. As you see, he got super loose. And here we see Andy getting back on track. After that spin, Samuel Oliveira coming into T1. Ooh, he's a little bit hot there. And sideways he goes. A little drift action. That'll give John Spriggs a little bit more of a gap. Santa closed down on him pretty good. That little sideways action on the track definitely did not do him much on catching John. Just at the halfway mark we are. Andreas Ebert having a pretty quiet day. Just cruising around. Checking out the Germany sights and sounds. There's always a crowd at this track. People are able to line up all over the place to watch the cars go by for split seconds at a time. Here's John going through that chicane right before he's going to make the left turn onto the Nordschleife. Back to the North Loop he goes. He did well on that first lap. Let's see how he does in the second one. And around goes Marco Troccola. As it looks like right now, Andy's going to lose quite a bit of points to John if this finishes the way it is. But it looks like we're probably going to get this lap and one more. We'll see what happens between then. John may have a spin, we don't know. Andy might suddenly find some good pace as well as not having any issues. Track him down and pass him, we don't know. It's a long time, it's 20 minutes, give or take. Probably closer to 18. So our biggest movers are both Samuel Oliveira and Marco Troccola, with 4 each. John just seems to be just cruising. It's not like he seems to be pushing anything. You don't see his car getting sideways. You don't see him out of shape in any corners, hitting any curves. Seems to be doing just what he was saying he was going to do, and that's just stay steady and don't push. Oh, Samuel goes around again. Oh, don't hit the back end. That's how you blow up engines. And he seems to be tracking down Marco pretty good here. As long as he can keep it together, stay off the curves, Andy. Got to be dragging that front right corner there. Got a race here. Let's go. Oh, Marco. Big drift. Stay off of it. Stay off it. Oh, he did not touch anything. Good job. Nice save. That could have been really bad. Mr. Consistent here. John just driving around, out for a Thursday cruise. Through the mountainside, checking out the scenery. Not much to say here, just watching John driving around, having a good day. I remember when I drove this track, there's a lot of times you don't see nothing but just road and green, just like you're seeing on the track here. There's nothing. See lots of trees. And then there'll be writing on the road. I don't understand that anyways. All the writing, people jump the fence, I guess, and paint things on the road. Oh, Andy, he is not having the day he wants. Poor guy is struggling on this track. Gets it going back forward again. Get it in gear, there we go. Might lose another position. Andreas Sieg. All that riding, all that people just painting stuff on the road. I guess if I was a photographer, I could run out there and paint my logo or something. So when I took the pictures, it'd be on the track. Got John, Mr. Consistent, just driving right along. Being patient. He's getting ready to go down that long straight one more time. hit the rev limiter on this straight coming up. Not this one, the long one. After this next turn, I believe. Shoot it like 275. $274, 275 kilometers an hour, maybe. So yeah, 272. 273 look like. Just flashing, there it is. 270. Oh, I saw 274 just for a moment. That's about as fast as these cars will go. Maybe if it was going downhill, it might get more speed. A little backwind. A quick right turn, he'll be back onto the front straight. There it is. There's the start-finish line. Starting the last lap. John might be thinking of stopping and grabbing a donut and a coffee. He's so far ahead. Auntie still cruising around, pushing. He's finally catching back up to Marco again. Probably getting frustrated with having to pass him over and over again. Not frustrated with Marco, but frustrated with himself. Because the green hell is definitely not giving him any love. It's wreaking hell is what it's doing. Back end of his car looks good, so he's got some good aero for the longer turns and such to keep that back end from spinning out. Not that the Widowmaker hasn't got its own ideas with him, because she's been taking care of him, throwing him in the walls, punishing him. Every time he thinks he's got it straight, she just punches him right in the gut. "16-second lead for John over Sam. Really hoping that Sam was going to get up there and battle it out with him, but just having struggle staying on the track, just like almost everybody. The only people we haven't seen off track is John Spriggs and Andreas Ebert. Both of them having a relatively quiet day. Just keep it off the fence. John is doing exactly what he said he wanted to do, was just stay steady, don't push unless he had to. Look at how smooth he's being. He's not even hardly pushing on the gas, it looks like. If I could control the camera, I'd go back to watch Andy and Marco because I think they're getting close enough we can start to see a battle. There's Andy. You see Marco just a bit out in front of him there. You just caught a glimpse of him. There's Andy hitting another curb. Hold it together, my friend. Hold it together. Andy can pass Marco before the end of this lap. That's at least 3 points difference of how much he'll be behind John. Right now, John's going to score 20. Sam will score 15. Marco will score 12, and Andy will score 10. That's a 10-point swing for John. Being only 4 points behind him, he'll be 6 points ahead of him. If Andy can get by Marco, then he'll score 12 points. They're going to be an 8-point swing. He'll be 4 points behind John. And a first place will still guarantee him the win. But as it stands right now, he'd have to get the win and have John finish third or worse. No, fourth or worse. The way John's been driving today, it's not very likely he is being Mr. Steady. Came on in the second half of this season. I think the first race of this season, he was in 6th place after it was all said and done in the beginning. So he's definitely made a charge in the second half of the season, pushing forward. And the team of, oh, Andy, where are you going? The team of John Spriggs and Timo Konechny will definitely finish in first place. Andy Darnell and Henrik Andreasen would be finishing in second for the team competition. Close enough to get a draft here. You're getting ready to come onto this straight. Oh, maybe I've got the wrong part of the track here. Sorry. They're not quite there yet. Right now, Andy can see a 3-point swing sitting right in front of him. Actually, it's a 2-point swing. He'll go from 10 to 12 points. Let's go, Andy. See what you got. Don't get foolish. Round goes Matty Renault. He is definitely not having the day that he'd like to be having. He's already 4 minutes behind. Oh, Andy goes around. And so does Marco. Marco hit the railing backwards. Hope he didn't blow up his engine. Andy's going to get by him. Look what happened to Marco's front end. That was the wrong time to spin, Marco. There's John getting ready to make that last left turn for the start-finish line to end this first race with a commanding lead. You can see he must have really slowed down. He's only 11 seconds ahead of Samuel now. He had a 16-second lead at one point. Here comes Sam, finishing second in race 1. Mr. Ebert. Teammates looking nose to tail here. It's kind of cruising along in the Andreas and Andreas team. Both of them racing for the 944 Housewife Racing team. You can see they're still pushing somewhat hard. Right now it was team pride. They were just wanting to see who could finish over the top of each other. Being able to go back to the garage and remind each other who's the number one. Matty Renault's got flat tires, no suspension, no bonnet, no lights. Wonder if that car even has front brakes anymore. It's dragging the ground big time. It's got half a lap to go. See all those sparks flying. She's driving down the straights. That road is bouncing him up and down. Got no suspension. Wow, he almost got called to the home planet there. Not sure what kind of video glitch that was. Matty is going to have a hard time. He's got to get back through this lap, get to the pitch, and try to get his car repaired well enough to be able to race in race number 2. And he's going to have less time than everybody else because everybody else is already back in the garage working on their cars. Off track. Careful, careful. Let's not get silly. Probably ready for this lap to be over. How many sparks that thing is throwing up everywhere it goes. That's one of the things that makes this track super hard to drive is it's not flat. You bounce. You're going up over hills, down hills, grounding the car out. Even when you got good suspension, you end up hitting the ground. Hold on to it. Oh, bounce off the wall again. Getting a good shot at how bumpy this road really is. That suspension being broke like it is reminds me of some of the old cars when you push them up and they would just bounce up and down for a moment or two. Kind of sit on them and they bounce, kind of rock you to sleep. This looks like one of the cars they had in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. It's so beat up. Looks like it should have been on fire at one point. Look at going down the straight. He's just grounding out. Look at all those sparks. That's crazy. I really think he's got a flat tire in that front right. Might have 2 flat tires in the front. Wow, all the way down that straight. Sparks are flying. One more left turn and you're home. There it is. Matty Renault is going to finish this race on all fours. He's made it. There's your final standings. John Spriggs in first, Samuel Oliveira in second, Andy Darnell in third. Rounding out the rest of the field is Marco Triccola, Andreas Ebert, Andreas Sieg, and coming in last is Matty Renault. Okay, new standings are as follows. John now has 150 points and Andy has 146 points. For Andy to win, he has to either finish first or he needs to beat John by 2 positions. For John to win, he has to finish within 1 position of Andy. Unless Andy wins the race, then Andy will automatically win. As a reminder, for this second race, we have a reverse grid for the top 5 drivers. That puts John all the way back to 5th position, and Andy will continue to stay in 3rd. They are just now starting to hit the grid. Tech inspections are done. Matty looks like he's got his car all repaired. Let's get ready for the loud pen.
Boogity, boogity, boogity! Let's go racing, drivers!
And Andy did not get the start he normally gets, but look at that. John had the start from the gods. He stole it from Andy. Right down into 3rd position. Andy's got his work cut out for him now. Matty's going to go wide. He had a hell of a start as well, and spinning around. Matty Renault starting off right where he left. He just cannot seem to control this car on this track. Andy knows he's got to beat John, so he's going around him here, down on his inside, pushing for everything he's got. A little bit of hargy-bargy there. John knows this is the time he's got to push. Doesn't want to push too much, though. He knows this is where it's all beginning, right here. All he's got to do is stay within, but he's got Marco Triccola out there in front, which is working in John's favor. Marco gets a little bit squirrely there. They're going 3 wide here. Into the turn again. 3 wide. John comes out on top of that little 3 wide battle. Andy looking down the inside of him again. Here's the chicane. They're getting ready to go back onto the Nordschleife. Andy knows he's got to get out in front of him. Samuel Oliveira is looking in there now. He's found his way to the front. Yeah, John Spriggs plus 4 positions. For a moment there, I thought Sam was going to go off track and just slam a wall. Calm down, boys. It's only lap 1. Only 2 minutes in here. All Andy's got to do is just hang on here. He can get around John. That's even better. That'll make it so he's in first place. That'll give him the win for the championship. It's all on the line right here, folks. It is lap 1, but you've got time. Andy is filling John's mirrors. Oh, Andy got a little bit wide there. A little bit sideways on the brakes. Car got a little light on him. Matty Renault goes around. Andreas Ebert goes around. Sorry, Andreas Sieg went around. Look at how hard these guys are pushing. Oh, looks like Andy just spinning there. He did spin. He got a little bit onto the grass and just couldn't keep it. And out front again, Mr. Consistent. And around goes Andreas Ebert. Oh, it's Andreas Sieg again. He goes around. I'm sorry, Mr. Ebert. I keep mistaking who I'm calling there. Things have seemed to have calmed down just a little bit. Remember, guys, there's still 15 minutes left in this race. We got 2 more laps after this. Matty Renault taking a look at the red and white wall over there. Guys wind through the countryside of Germany. Now, when I drove this track, I rented a little car to drive around on it. It was kind of fun. But I swear, all these horns and bells that you're hearing, I could hear them when I was driving around. Every time you get near one of the places where the crowds can see you, you hear all this screaming, yelling, horns going off and bells. And it's really kind of interesting that even on a non-professional race day, I wasn't a pro, just somebody driving around on a track, you hear these horns going off, flash bulbs going. It's really, I don't want to say humbling, but it's really interesting that you just see all this for non-professionals. I'm sure they were rooting for me to wreck. That's what I really think was happening. Not much going on here. These guys just kind of cruising along. John being Mr. Consistent. Sam just relaxing, I think, trying to say, okay, let me wait until we get on that long straight. Maybe from there I can put a little pressure on him again. Andy Darnell's fallen all the way back to 4th position. And Marco Tricola going at it again. As it stands right now, John will definitely win the championship. Seems like once John got a hold of this car, he has been one of the front 2 runners in almost every race. Just pretty much dominating. You didn't always have the fastest car, but it's not always the fastest car that wins. It's the one who's most steady. As you can see, Sam has caught him again. Get around him cleanly without touching him. He's a very clean racer. He's not the type to push you out of the way or spin you just so he can get by. Oh, Andy, around again. At least he didn't hit the back end. Remember, folks, that's where the motor's located. So you hit the back end of these cars, it's more likely you're going to blow the engine. Sam is putting all kinds of pressure on John here. John could just let him go. Say it's okay, go ahead. I've got Andy by 2 positions. I'm okay, but I'm sure that John is not the type to say, let me just pull out of the way. That draft. Pass at 270 kilometers an hour. Samuel Oliveira, if he finishes this race in first, he will have won the first race of the season and the last race of the season. He's taking the lead here, almost a second coming out of those corners. I'm sure John is just trying to take it easy. He knows he doesn't have to be in first. There's Sam going sideways again. He did that in the first race as well. Matty Renault lost his bumper. Kept the bumper last time and lost the hood. This time he lost the bumper but kept the hood. Or exactly. He kept the bumper in the first race and lost the hood. The second race he's lost his bumper and kept the hood. Bonnet. I think that's what you guys call it. John gets back around Sam there. That was a good set of corners there for him. Sam ain't giving up. He's going to put some more pressure on John. Guys are pretty much leaving everybody behind. We now have a 12-second, almost a 12, it's 11-second lead on Marco Troccola. Poor Matty Renault around again. These two just dueling it out up here in the front. So he's doing a good job of not pushing too much. John doing John, just cruising along. Driving. John seems to be very methodical. Sam seems to be, let's push it. Let's see how far we can get this car to go. And we just heard Sam had a family emergency and has left the race. that gives Andy one more position, but he is not going to be making any strides being in third with John way out there in first. He's got 17 seconds to try to make up over 2 more laps and 7 minutes left in the race. He's only got about a lap and a half left to try to track down John, pass him up, and not wreck. It's a tall order. Before he even gets to the fact of thinking about John, he's got to get past Marco. Seems like every time he gets close, he makes a mistake. He's tracking Marco down though. A 4-second deficit. Well, I was going to say it's down to 2, but just gave some of it back. This track has not been kind to him. But look at this. John up front, our leader. At the way things are going, he's our current points leader. He's going to win a championship. He's going to master the Widowmaker. Andy back on track. Slowly tracking down Marco again. John is slowly putting even more time between him and those guys. 19 seconds now. Marco's having a hell of a race today. It's one of his best weekends he's had. Darnell, our famous leader of Petrohead Simracing. Well, he's caught Marco. Don't make a mistake now. Stay relaxed. Just do what you're doing. Couple more turns, they're going to hit that second carousel. They're going to be back on the long straight. Andy's pushing. I'm sure he can see that Marco is losing time to John. Got a run on him. Got better of it there. Not the time you want to be trying to pass somebody on this track. And he got a little light over that hill. Into the barrier. Giving Marco some much needed breathing room. Back up front with John. Car doesn't have a scratch on it. There's that second carousel. Make this right turn, a little half turn and that coming up next, and then they're back down that long straight. And he's going to have a nice tow from Marco. Maybe he can get that pass done here on this long straight. And 276, 277, 280. That draft is really, look at that, 282 kilometers an hour. 283 I saw. 284 top speed. That draft really helped him. With extra speed comes extra danger, though. You got to be braking just a moment earlier because you just can't use the same brakes when you're going 10 kilometers faster. Past the grandstands. Look at all those people. We are packed here. Andreas Ebert wanted some screen time. Figured if he went off track, he'd get a little bit more. Andy is really taking his time here. Oh, Matty Renault got DQ'd. Too many off-track limits. Filling the mirrors now of Marco. Looked like he had a good run coming out of there, but nowhere to go with it. He had to slow down again. See, he's taking this different line, trying to find a way to get around Marco. Going through this little chicane here. Going back onto the north loop. After this left turn here. This is it, Andy. It's your last lap. You're going to have to get past Marco, make up 18 seconds. Well, 17, 18 seconds. Unless something happens to John, folks, we're going to have a new champion. John is going to win. This championship is all but over. But we all know the green hell can reach out and bite you at any moment. Between that and the Widowmaker, what a pairing the two of these things go together. It's one way to get yourself in a lot of hot water here. Andy still has not found a way to get around Marco. He's definitely calmed down. Things continue the way they are. Marco is going to have 2 podiums today. Andy, oh my goodness. He definitely got out of shape there. Back up front. John stopping at the local market to grab himself a soda. If I remember right, John's a coffee drinker, so he probably grabbed some coffee. He's waving at the crowds. Handing out autographs. out for a Sunday drive on a Thursday racetrack. Andreas Sieg with an off track. Oh, he's got the front bumper missing as well, and a light. Hope it doesn't get dark. He'll only be in a halfway seat. Marco with a little screen time of his own now. He's got himself a nice little 7-second lead over Andy Darnell, and he's still starting to climb back towards John. Brought it back down, back to 18, but he brought it down to 17.5 seconds there. Could be the part of the track that they were on. He could have been on one of the faster areas, and John in one of the slower cutbacks. So it looks like Marco has got himself a little bit of an understanding with this car. So he's definitely driving better today than he has in the past few races. He also drives for the 944 Housewife Racing team. There's 3 of them in today's race. Marco Trocola, Andreas Ebert, and Andreas Sieg all race for the same team. They are Team 1 and Team 2. You're only allowed to have 2 drivers per team. I don't know why we cut away from that. That was right when Marco went off track. But we got Andreas Ebert here, the other half of the Marco Trocola team. I know that both the Andreases are not on the same team, but that gives me the idea that I'm sure that Marco's teammate is Andreas. I'm going to go out on a limb on that one. Got about 2/3 of this lap done, so he's not too far from ending the misery of Nordschleife in the Widowmaker. Marco, I was just singing your praise. No, Marco. Oh my goodness. I'm not going to say that's commentator's curse because I do this race after they're already done. He couldn't have known I was talking about him. I'm going to talk about him. Car doesn't look too bad. Still in good shape. Look up there to the timing. We can see that Andy Darnell is still 25 seconds behind John Spriggs. I don't think he can make that up. John's probably on that front straight right now. If they would flash over to him, we'd know where he's at to tell you whether this race is over or not. There is no time on the clock. This is the last lap. You can watch Mr. Ebert going around. second carousel. That means he's almost on front straight. Oh no, Andy. Oh no, that's Marco. Marco must have decided he was going to push a little bit there at the end. Get it going, Marco. Andreas Ebert's coming. Taking chunks out of the time. Not sure who he's flashing his lights to, because Marco's 20 seconds ahead of him. But he looks good doing it. Stop playing with the buttons while he's coming through these turns. Coming across the start-finish line is Andreas Ebert, flashing his lights, weaving back and forth for the crowd. And here comes Mr. Andreas Sieg with a damaged car. He's going to be our last finisher. One more left turn, you can get on that front straight and be done with this. And there we have it, folks. This race is officially over. And guess what? We have us a new champion. So our finals in race 2 is going to be John Spriggs in first, Andy Darnell in second, Marco Turcola in third, Andreas Ebert in fourth, Andreas Sieg in fifth, Samuel Oliveira, who got called home for an emergency, in sixth, and Matty Renault in seventh. Here are the final team standings. John and Timo ended up in first, with Andy and Henrik ending up in second. If you want to see the rest, you can go ahead and pause that. We had 18 drivers who participated in at least one race. Thanks to all of you for showing up. So if you want to see where your driver finished and their performances, please hit the pause on the video. Otherwise, we're going to focus on the top 5, starting with Matty Renault. If you look all the way to the right column, you can see that he had an average finish of 5.5. Not bad. Next is Henrik Andreasen, who didn't race in 2 of the 6 rounds, and with an average of finish of 2.62, he could have been competing for first place. Then we have our 3 podium drivers, starting with Timo Konecny in third, who missed 1 full round, with an average of 2.8 finishing. In second place, we have Andy Darnell with an average finish of 2.75. And in first, we have our champion, John Spriggs, with an average finish of 2.6. Congratulations, John. You are the master of the Widowmaker.
Boss, head man, top dog, big cheese, a head honcho.
And that is it for the Widowmaker series, folks. Until next time, stay cool like the other side of the pillow.